So, today we're gonna talk about Excellent Cheap by William Deresiewicz. I'm very sorry. I really am. I should kind of look things up, I guess. Yeah, anyway. It is some sort of a book that it is about education, I think. I'm actually not quite sure, but it's apparently somehow about college and education and all of these great things. Presumably great things, because they can also be just pretty bad and pretty fucked up and pretty shitty. And yeah, I think it should be alright. The recording should be alright, but I gotta have to take a little bit of blanket. And I think there's something incredibly important, since a lot of people are graduating at this point in time, or have been. So not only me, apparently, but also just other people and more people throughout Europe and maybe, I don't actually know, but maybe even the United States, or just in North America in general. But as I said, I don't really know, so it's just an assumption of mine, but we're still going to go through it. And it is basically, as this little kind of summary also says, it is about the safe paths that college students really want to go through or want to take. And this doesn't necessarily have to be the case, or it doesn't necessarily have to be the best way you can take. So, very important. College students are stuck on traditional, safe, quote-unquote paths and end up with jobs they don't like, so they can buy shit they don't need to impress people they don't like. This book is perfect for the college student who is stuck on that path, or the parent who put them there. The only criticism I have is that this solution doesn't go big enough in its ambition. The thing is, I'm seeing this as well. Like, people are going to be like, well, I'm going to study something and I just want to have a safe job. I want to have a safe income and whatnot. But I don't know. Thing is, we are young, and now is kind of the time to do things and to try things and to work on things and to figure out what we really want to do. And once we think we have figured it out, then we can actually work shit. But the thing is, if you just do something now because of, probably because of the paycheck that you're going to get every single fucking month, that is going to be quote unquote huge, or you think it is huge, but you don't really like the job after like 20 years because you haven't taken the time to really figure out what you want to do, then it is a little bit of a more fucked up thing. Of course, you can still do it, and it's still just manageable, and it is still, I would actually say it's still relatively easy to just deal with that then. But the thing is that, it is easier to do it right now, quite, because now we're having time. Now there is no other person that we have to quote unquote take care of. There's no children, there's no expenses, not that many expenses at least, because you might be living at your parents' house or in your parents' house, and therefore you're not having that much to pay, as if you would be living in just your own house, having your own car, having kids and having family and whatnot. It is a little bit more difficult. Summary notes. Things like being a musician or writer don't have an application form, don't have a clear path. Yes, indeed. And we all can try it out, and we all can just work on it. It isn't any wonder, as graduation draws near, that a lot of students scurry frantically around looking for another hoop to jump through. The prospect of not being successful terrifies them, disorients them, defeats them. They have been haunted their whole life by a fear of failure, often in the first instance by their parents' fear of failure. Yes, indeed. The cost of falling short, even temporarily, becomes not merely practical, but existential. And I think this is a really good point. And I want to repeat it, the cost of falling short, even temporarily, because the thing is, of course, you're going to quote unquote, maybe spend a little bit of time on just finding things or trying to find things, which is going to be cool, maybe, which is also not going to be cool, maybe because you think that you're wasting time, which you could be using for studying something, which you could be using for just getting that safe job. And so initially, I think that there is some work, of course. Initially, you have to invest something, but in the end, it's going to be worth it, hopefully. If you've just done a good job, then it is probably going to be worth it. But yeah, I mean, I can understand people being like, well, I just don't want to waste my time right now and stuff like that. But it might be really short-sighted. It might be really like, really thinking about the short term rather than the long term, because in the long term, it's probably going to be just completely worth it. What is not reasonable is that we have constructed an educational system that produces highly intelligent, accomplished 22-year-olds who have no idea what they want to do with their lives. No sense of purpose, and what is wrong, no understanding of how to go about finding one. You can follow an existing path, but don't have the imagination or the courage or the inner freedom to invent their own. Yes, indeed, we all can work in a fucking factory, we all can do something, but building something, making something, creating something, this is actually pretty difficult. And I've also seen it, and it obviously also depends on how harsh you are to yourself and how much you're expecting of yourself, because I don't know, you can't just do a really poor job and doing just the same exact fucking bullshit every single fucking day, but reinventing yourself and reinventing what you're doing, which is basically also something that I should be doing more of, to be honest. This is difficult and it is not easy. And yeah, I do also, on the other hand, do not want to say that, climbing up that career ladder in the corporate world is easy. It is not, because you also have to be a certain person to be able to do that in maybe a fast way, maybe just even doing that. But so not everybody is able to do that, I believe, I guess, because we're not all meant to just be, high achievers and bosses of entire companies or the CEOs of entire companies and whatnot. But yeah. No wonder they have also lost their souls. Athletics mean no more now than physical training. Music means technical proficiency, and service means charity. Leadership means climbing to the top. We think it odd that a man should devote his life to writing poems. The critic Dwight MacDonald said some years ago, but natural that he should devote it to inducing children to breakfast or crunchies instead of Crispies. I've had to talk a gifted young musician into acknowledging that music can make a difference in people's lives, which is an incredibly important point because, I don't know, this is my belief. This is what I think, and this is what I want to do with my life. I just don't want to live my life and do something and die and nobody cares. But I really want to just build something. I really want to do something. This is also one of the reasons why I've started a podcast, because I think and still believe that it is quite a great way to change things in some people, I don't necessarily have to change just worlds and stuff, but I might be able to impact and also hope to being able to impact some people with what I'm doing here and with all the things that I'm in general doing, like whether it is the things that I'm doing on Instagram, whether it is just the podcast per se, whether it is something else. I just really do hope that I am able to indeed make something and do something and create something that is just, something people appreciate maybe. Beyond a moderate level of material comfort, happiness consists of two things: feeling connected to others and engaging in meaningful work. These are hardly new ideas. Aristotle, who said that man is a social animal, also said that happiness derives from exercising one's particular capacities, doing strenuously, in other words, what you do well. Summoning that sense of joy and freedom that arises from your belly when you're doing work that calls up your favorite powers, which is amazing, which is, by the way, kind of also a reason why I would say just working on your talents rather than your weaknesses is a good idea. I do not necessarily want to say that we all should constantly be doing that. Just in terms of working out, it doesn't make any fucking sense. If you're clearly seeing that you're having a deficiency in your chest, in your left or right chest, maybe there's some asymmetries, then you should be working on these, also because, there might be some health impacts, there might be some impacts on your whole entire body because of that and whatnot. But I, in general, think that we should be rather working on our strengths than our weaknesses, because, I don't know, the thing is, if you're really good at something, then you're quite able to just really get into these 1% or maybe even 0.1% people that are also doing that and also super good at that. But if you're already just bad at something, of course, you could, in theory, achieve the same position there as well, but it's going to be way harder because there's other people that are more talented and there's other people that are working probably even more harder than you are, because it is something that they are maybe really appreciating. Maybe this is something that they're really talented in, and therefore they're really appreciating it. Because something that I've seen is that when we are already good at something, then we are also more likely to do more of it and to also like doing more of it, and also just in general like it or like to do it. In the top 5 regrets after dying, a nurse who works in the end-of-life care. This is, by the way, a book, and it is a pretty interesting one, since a lot of people are actually talking about it, and a lot of books are also talking about it. In the top 5 regrets after dying, a nurse who works in an end-of-life care reports that the single most common regret that her patients express is that I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me, which I think is a good point. And if you're doing so, you should probably change rather now than in just, 80 years. But Brooks is still at least half right. Most people don't form a self and then lead a life. He says they are called by a problem and the self is constructed gradually by their calling. Yeah, I would kind of also say so. Emerson quotes Oliver Cromwell, "A man never rises so high as when he knows not whither he is going. The desire to eliminate uncertainty eliminates life." I think this is a very important one because I often try to do so. I just don't like uncertainty. I think it is a human thing that, we all don't like uncertainty. I think I have recently read something like we would rather be unhappy than uncertain about things or of things, whatever. And I would kind of also say so because yeah, it is fucked up if you don't know where things are leading to. And it is fucked up if you don't know where you're heading towards. I just totally fucking get that. But if you aren't financially constrained, if you didn't graduate with that, then what is your excuse? The psychic dodge that seems to be at work here, similarly to what we saw with self-indulgence. Using your privilege to pursue your dreams is spiritually suspect, but using it to enrich yourself still further is somehow authentic. But there's something that is a great deal more important than parental approval, learning to do without it. That is what it means to become an adult. A child who never rebels remains a child forever. Generational conflicts was not invented in the 1960s. It is a normal part of growing up and an integral feature of human society. Is it really called integral? Well, I don't know, but I think so as well. I just don't want to be like my parents. This is not what I want to do. And I think this is quite normal that we just try to do it quote unquote better, because in the end, is it going to be better? Yes, maybe, because it is what you want to do. If you're just doing it the exact same way as your parents are doing it, then chances are pretty high that it is not really something that you want to do. And it is, chances are really indeed high. And so don't do that. Don't do things like somebody else is doing it just because they're doing it. You should really be doing things that you enjoy and you like and you think are important for you. And that's then quite fucking it. If I would be doing just the exact same fucking shit my parents are doing, I wouldn't be working out. I wouldn't be doing this. I would just be, learning all day fucking long and trying to get in the best university I can or some shit, or just get into university and then learn again and just stuff like that. This would be my life. But I thought, no. I didn't just consciously think no, I'm not going to do it like they did it, but just, I'm a different human being. And I'm different than they are. And I'm just also trying to do different things, and I've also had a different environment. I've had different influences, and I've also had just obviously different people around me, and I don't know. I do sometimes feel like in the last, which is something that just comes to my mind. In the last week or something, I haven't been doing that much. I have been working out quite a lot, and I've been able to just fuck myself once again. I've just been doing the podcast as I'm normally doing, but I didn't really think that I'm just really on that high level. But as I'm thinking about it, I'm actually doing quite a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm recording, I'm doing the posts, I'm just writing an article every single day. I am just posting to just different platforms. I'm having the podcast, so I'm actually not doing. Of course, there has been some times where I've been doing more, especially also with school added to that. I've been going to school and I've still been doing all these things that I'm doing now, but I'm just now having way more time. I'm having such a lot of time. Of course, rest is important and just incredibly important. And if you're really feeling like resting, you should also be resting. You should really be listening to your body, because if it's saying okay, it is fucking enough, then it is fucking enough. Because if you're just constantly pushing and pushing, there's going to be one day you fucking burn out, and there's going to be one day you really fuck yourself. And incorporating rest days into your week and into your schedule in general is something that's incredibly important, physically wise and also mentally wise. But yeah, I could be doing more, and I could also probably be doing a better job at just doing what I'm doing right now. Maybe cutting a little bit better once again and stuff. Like, I've really turned things down a bit, but I've actually seen quite good growth. I don't know if it is because of that. I really don't. But yeah, and actually just in general working on your happiness is a good indication of how good your life is. If you really feel like that you're not feeling good constantly, then you have to do something about it. What do you owe your parents? Love, and when they need it later, care, but not submission, not your life. What do you owe your parents? Nothing. What do you owe your parents? What do you owe your parents? Nothing. The family is not a business deal. You don't owe your parents. You have a relationship with them. When you're still a child, that relationship ought to evolve obedience. Once you're an adult, it has to evolve independence, or evolve to independence. Which, by the way, is also a theme in Too Soon Old, Too Late Smart, which is a pretty cool book, and I really enjoyed it, even though it is kind of highly, not scientific, but the language is quite high. And for me as a non-native speaker, it sometimes is a little bit like, I think that if I would be reading this in my mother tongue, then I would just really be like, wow, this is fucking amazing. But just because I'm not getting everything really well, it is like, well, I'm just reading it which is a little bit of a fucked up thing, a little bit of a not bad thing, but yeah, it's not that excellent, I would say, quite. But still, he's also talking about like the parent and child relationship and what we really kind of owe our parents. And he says that there's nothing we owe our parents. They brought us to life. They just brought us to this earth and to this planet. And it is not just our fault it is first of all not our fault. And it is also not our mission to give them back something, because it's been their decision and whatnot. I don't really, really agree with that, because I don't know, like, if they've done a great job, then okay, there's something to give back, at least at my point of view. If they haven't done a good job, then of course you can be like, well, just fuck it and whatever. But of course you can always be like, fuck it. Don't try to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life. You're going to be a very different person in 2 or 3 years, and that person will have his own ideas. All you can really figure out is what you want to do right now. Yeah, but I still really believe in planning things. Not really like deliberately, like just to the very smallest piece of your life. But I don't know, just having a plan of what you want to do. When people say leaders now, what they mean is gung-ho followers. Well, I don't get it. Emerson insists that we each must win our independence by mounting a private revolution to free ourselves from the tyranny of existing mental structures. Independence, revolution, tyranny, freedom. Concepts that are essentially to Americans' collective history as well. Emerson took the National Act as exemplary for the individual life. America's revolution was also an intellectual one. It also overthrew existing models of thought, existing ideas about the way the world can look. Because, yes, it is an important thing, because if you constantly think and act in the same way, you're gonna get the same exact fucking thing. But if you start thinking about things in a different way because of knowledge and because of being interested in things and constantly trying to get the quote-unquote newest information, because there's some fields, they're always changing. Health, there's always some new ideas, there's always some new things that we should be looking out for, and there's always some things that are important. And being on the very just high of this topic and just really knowing things is a good thing. It really is. Instead of worrying so much about building your resume, you need to start working on building your mind. Yes, indeed. Just building a resume is the completest fucking shit there is. Am I building my resume while just doing something there? Yes, kind of actually. Because I'm designing things, because I like to design things, and I could use it as a portfolio. Some sort of. Is it a resume? Not really, isn't it? Because it's a portfolio, not a resume. But I don't know. Like, don't go to the university just because you want to have it on your resume. I don't know. You can't just really do a lot of things. You can start a YouTube channel. You can just do this. You can do that. You can make music, which is great. I like it. It is difficult. It really is. And the thing is, once we start doing something, we can really actually appreciate those people that are really good at it, Because as I've been starting making music, I've actually seen, wow, this is fucking hard. It's not easy. It really is not easy. And now I just really, there's a different appreciation that I'm having for music as I'm thinking about it. And also for people that are not musicians, but still making music or trying to make music, like, it is difficult. It really is. The most important kind of learning is about how to learn. Information is freely available everywhere now. The question is, whether you know what to do with it. And the last one is, thinking is a skill, or rather a large and complex set of skills. In terms of what they take to learn, they aren't any different than manual ones, than hitting a ball or throwing a pot. You don't learn them from a book or video or website. You learn them directly from another person. You learn them through, in a sense, repetition and incremental variation extension under the close supervision of an experienced practitioner. You learn them in classes that are small enough to allow for individual attention, supplemented by one-on-one instruction tailored to your own specific attitudes or aptitudes and needs. If you're learning how to play guitar, the teacher will place your hands exactly where they need to go and do it again and again until you get it right. The mind has hands as well, and an endless variety of things you can do with them. Which is true. We all can do things. We just only have to wrap our heads around that. For some people, it's going to be more easy. For some people, it's going to be more hard. But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to end the episode there. I really appreciate it. So thank you very much for staying with me here and just going through this amazing summary with me. And yeah, I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, and basically means just being a nice person and then also being remembered as a nice person, which is a pretty cool thing, an amazing thing as well. 3 other questions that I'm having you are, why are you here? What are you trying to change, and what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe indeed even a business idea, which is a cool thing. Have I actually said that? I don't know. Well, another question is, what could you do? What could you make? What could you change? What could you create? What could you say that is really going to change somebody's life and that is really going to change how somebody is viewing the world? Quite. Maybe it's going to change somebody's day, somebody's week, somebody's year, somebody's whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck. The thing is, it's amazing. You can do so much. But that being said, thank you very much from the bottom of my, really from the bottom of my heart. I just appreciate it so much. I hope that I've been able to just share some things and talk about some things that you're interested in and appreciating. And I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So, bye-bye.